Here to talk about the ruling is California Senator Alex Padilla. Senator, thank you so much for joining us.
Of course. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning to you. So what was your initial reaction when this ruling came down?
Sadly, not shocked because the extreme majority on the Supreme Court keeps doing it over and over again. Legal contortions to give Trump whatever he wants. And in this case, not even a justification, not even a rationale or an explanation on their ruling. That's number one. Number two, a recognition that the fight is not over. This is a temporary action on the injunction. Sadly, they're giving the Trump administration license to go back at not just overly aggressive enforcement of our immigration laws, but to do so in an indiscriminate and racial profiling manner, which is wrong. But the underlying case is still there, and we're going to continue to fight to make sure that these constitutional violations don't continue.
So, Senator, LA says it will not be intimidated. Can you be more specific with us? Talk to us about what the next legal steps will be.
Yeah, so it's a combination of efforts to push back on the administration, not just on their unlawful immigration enforcement agenda, but on so many things. There's the legislative pushback here in Congress, which is tough. We know we're in the minority, but we do have some leverage points. There's the litigation that's been filed, not just by the city of Los Angeles, not just by the state of California, but so many people directly affected by this administration. And of course, there's the ongoing organizing. Look, my thanks and respect to all the rapid response networks, volunteers that are out there documenting when these raids happen to try to ensure some transparency and accountability to make sure that agents are abiding by the rule of law, which we saw violated so many times over the last several months. And we're also comparing notes, right? We're sharing our experience with cities across the country. You've seen coverage of ICE and National Guard troops in Washington, D.C., the threat to enter the city of Chicago now, and other cities represented by Democratic elected officials. You know, the partisan political attack is blatant by this president, and we're going to continue to push back.
Right. So we're talking about immigration raids. We're talking about the Supreme Court ruling, and we're talking about much more. You and Senator Schiff, you're taking action on the mobilization of the military here in L.A. following the start of the raids. Can you talk to us about that? Because that was definitely something that it caught a lot of people's attention, caught them off guard to see military in the city of Los Angeles.
Exactly. So just, stop for a second and consider what's happening. Most recently, the president of the United States, Donald Trump, has threatened to go to war against the city of Chicago. Think about that. Let that sink in. Sending the military against our own citizens. And I wish we could say, oh, it's a hypothetical or just political rhetoric or bombast. No, we have the example of Los Angeles, where in a different court case, again, the administration lost their case. It was unlawful what they did to federalize National Guard and deploy them into the city of Los Angeles, to escalate tensions when he sent the Marines in, unprecedented, counterproductive. And, the trauma is going to continue to linger in Los Angeles. The fear and the terror people feel, I know, is very, very real. I hear it not just from constituents, but family and friends.
So, Senator, you're the son of undocumented immigrants who later became citizens. We know that you became part of the international conversation when you were, taken down to the ground during that news conference. Let's talk about what kinds of conversations do you think you and your parents would be having right now? What kinds of conversations are you having with your family members?
Yeah, again, when I hear not just from constituents, and there's some heart-wrenching stories, the example that you all cover when you have a 15-year-old boy, disabled boy, handcuffed, and it resulted in a case of mistaken identity. When you hear of not just immigrants, but even citizens, even veterans that are arrested, detained for days on end, no communication with their attorneys or even their family. This is an administration that has gone too far. And I can just imagine, again, the impact for a family, because my family's been on that journey. My father came here to the United States in search of the American dream. He provided for our family for 40 years by working as a short order cook. My mom, for the same 40 years, worked cleaning houses, right? In the first Trump administration, these would be workers considered essential at the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic. And now it's this category of workers that are the primary target of Trump's immigration raids. If they were strictly focusing on the dangerous, violent criminals that they talk so much about, there would be no debate. There would be no disagreement. But the fact of the matter is, and ICE's data themselves shows the vast majority of people that are being rounded up do not have violent criminal convictions or history.
Senator, can you talk to us about what would your message be to immigrants here in Southern California at this moment about what's happening right now?
Yeah, I think the two main messages I have is, number one, know your rights, because everybody in the United States, regardless of immigration status, has fundamental civil rights, including protections against unlawful search and seizure. So know your rights and don't sign any paperwork, don't agree to anything without talking to an attorney. But second, don't lose hope. Know that we continue to push back, not just in the halls of Congress, not just in the courts, but continuous organizing in community and certainly in preparation for the midterm elections. That's how we ultimately take power back and rein this president in. And the first step, before even talking about next November, is talking about this November and the stakes on the ballot in the special election in California with Proposition 50.
We're really grateful to get this time with you, Senator. We do know that a lot of our NBC4 viewers are bilingual. We want to take a moment, if possible, just if you could deliver the same sort of message in Spanish for our viewers who are listening in.
Sí, para la comunidad inmigrante en Los Ángeles, mi mensaje, bueno, son dos. En primer lugar, conozcan sus derechos, porque en este país, bajo nuestra Constitución, todos tenemos derechos fundamentales, inclusive el derecho en contra este ataque discriminatorio de la administración Trump. Y el segundo mensaje es que no pierdan la fe, porque seguimos luchando no solo en las salas de Congreso, no solo en las cortes federales, pero en la comunidad seguimos organizándonos en contra de los abusos de la administración y no solo en las preparaciones de las elecciones del 2026, pero la elección especial este año, este noviembre, con la Proposición 50 que es tan importante.
All right, Senator, quickly, we only have like 40 seconds left. LA Mayor Karen Bass just endorsing former Mayor Villaraigosa for governor. Your reaction to that, and any chance that you make a run for governor?
Right.
Look, I know they've known each other for a long time, respect their friendship, relationship. My bottom line, the governor's race is next year. And we have some urgent matters before us, responding to yesterday's Supreme Court decision and getting ready for the Proposition 50 vote this November. The stakes are simply too high.